This is my response video to Gregg's video that he posted later on today. I was originally going to film this tomorrow after I collected my thoughts, because after I watched the video and seeing just how he like manipulated the whole situation, I wasn't like in the right state of mind to pick up the camera and to talk about things, because I was quite like enraged a little bit, or not really in the right state of mind to like get my thoughts together, get my facts straight, and just like really tell the story why I've decided to discontinue working with Gregg. This video was originally going to go really different until I saw his response and just how condescending he was in it. Seeing the repercussions of the video he made in the comment section, how people are just like, how he just made me out to look immature and irresponsible and like I made the bad decision. And by making his video first, because I knew for a fact that if he read any of the comments that I put in response to my video that I posted yesterday, I knew if he saw those comments, he'd make a reaction video to just even my comments, not even a video that I made, because Gregg's very fast. He's all about drama and everything orientated with that. He's all about ad revenue and making sure he can just like pump out as many videos as possible to make as much money on YouTube as possible, as I'll get into. But originally this video was going to be very different, and I was going to briefly touch on some of the things that I was unhappy about in our coaching experience. But after seeing the video and after seeing the things that he said and the response and the messages that I'm getting so inappropriately, people calling me a dickhead, immature, like I've made the wrong decision, I'm an emotional wreck for some reason. Like right now, I am the happiest I have probably ever been in my life. I'm in a great place around great people. I'm in the best gym in the world, having the best workouts in my entire life. 2 weeks ago and a week ago, loads of things happened, things in my life unfolded that I haven't actually spoken about, that I'm going to speak about at the end of this video when I've covered the topic regarding Gregg. The truth is going to be spilled, and I'm going to go in depth about why I wasn't happy working with Gregg, why I've decided to go with the original coach I was speaking to actually before Gregg contacted me, offering me coaching for free, selling me dreams about a continuous collaboration, and how he coached Ian, which is Chris Bumstead's coach, now his brother-in-law, and how now Chris is Mr. Olympia, and how everything that Chris knows is from Ian and everything Ian knows is from Gregg. This was one of the things that we spoke about in our original call, which is where I'm going to start this whole thing. I'm going to tell you from the very beginning until the very end and how things really happen. So on my last competition prep in about April, just before my competition in 2019, about 8 months ago, I made a video that was disclosing a cycle that was deemed to be quite aggressive, and this is true. Gregg proceeded to make a roast video about me and my cycle, telling me how it was stupid and moronic and how I shouldn't have been doing that, and I totally agreed with him. The plethora of things I was taking was a little bit outrageous. Things could have been dosed a lot better, and the compounds that I was taking should have been a little bit different, and I'm fully aware of that. So based on the roast video that Gregg made about me, I confronted him at the Toronto Pro Show about 2 months later, and we had a really good conversation and we really got along, and I was like, you know what, Gregg's a really nice guy. It was good to finally meet the guy after watching a couple of his videos in the past, finding him quite entertaining, and then when I met him, found out he was a really nice guy. I was like, you know what, it's cool that he made the video about me, because not only was he correct in what he was saying about me in the videos, he was also a pretty decent man. So I left that whole situation with a really good mental picture of Gregg in my mind. Previous to this, and he actually followed this up when we met in person, he was saying that he would coach me for free, take me on as a client. I didn't have a coach, and I wasn't being coached for the off season. I'd never been coached for the off season before, so I was like, you know what, like Gregg is offering me free coaching. I was previously speaking to a man called Callum, who runs a company called Muscle Mentors, which is actually one of the #1 coaching companies in the UK, and Callum is actually one of the most intelligent coaches in the UK, and he actually coaches 2 of my friends already, which was a big deciding factor in me originally speaking to Callum to hire him to be my personal coach. Gregg telling me he was going to coach me for free, everyone telling me that Gregg is this incredible coach and he is going to turn me pro, and then he told me stories about how he turned Ian pro and how like it would be a continuous collaboration. He was like, oh yeah, it'd be so good, man, go back and forth and just grow each other's channels and just like make loads of money for each other, because that was one thing that Gregg was like really like, you know, that was in his head. He didn't want me to pay him for coaching because he was convinced that I, for some reason, would blow his clientele up and he would never need to worry about, you know, promoting his coaching again, because for me, if he was to turn me pro as he turned Ian pro, he would use me as he used Ian as a selling point to sell his own coaching. So I'm not sure the exact date, but I think it was around September, maybe October time, me and Gregg actually started working together. He sent me a questionnaire. I had to fill out the whole questionnaire. After I had to grammar check the questionnaire, fill out all the questions, send it back to him with the plethora of information that I gave him to create my personalized diet plan. I'm going to specify, and I'm going to repeat the word personalized, because Gregg, for his paying clients, charges for a 16-week contest prep, diet and training 4,700 Canadian, let's just say 5,000 Canadian, which is about 2.5, maybe 3,000 British pound for a 16-week prep, which already is absolutely outrageous. But because of Gregg's, high demand, he thinks he can charge that amount for his personalized coaching because he is such a prestigious YouTube famous coach. After about 4 days of sending him the email, I received my plan, and this was it was really confusing to me because the plan he sent me, it was like a glorified recipe book. He didn't give me set macros. He gave me an overall basis on the amount of calories I should have been consuming, which was anywhere in between 3,500 and 4,000 at the beginning of the plan. And he told me, Brandon, right here, there is about 300, 400 meals, all macro friendly meals. I told him I'm not really a massive fan of all the macro friendly, protein, ice cream, low carb burgers, basically all the kind of meals that his lifestyle clients would love to receive, because a lot of people, when they're following a plan, they don't want to actually feel like they're dieting. So they really like to eat French toast in the morning. They really like to eat low carb burgers and low carb wraps and high protein homemade chocolate bar. Honestly, I couldn't even understand why half the meals that he sent me on the plan were actually on there. And this is the funny part. There was female options on my plan, my personalized plan that took Gregg 4 days to apparently write out. It had female options on it. Does that not say enough? The plan that he sent me, it wasn't personalized. It was a fucking copy and pasted plan. I wish I could show you the whole plan that he gave me, but I'm scared he'd sue me. He basically sent me a glorified recipe book that he sends me to every single one of his clients. The only thing he told me to do was to hit a certain amount of calories with the meals that I had to choose from the plan myself to basically create my own plan. When I specifically told him from a coaching standpoint, I like to be told exactly what to eat, when to eat it, and how many grams of each ingredient I'm meant to consume. I didn't even request to be told anything complicated like times of the day to consume the foods. I literally asked for the most basic things, and he sent me exactly what I didn't ask for. And just in case everyone thinks I'm being a little bit picky, or I just wasn't happy with his plan, but it was actually amazing. Quinton, the massive guy that I've been training with in the gym, Valerie, who's also part of our friendship group, and Regan Grimes, if you don't believe these people, all these people at the Muscle Mansion, which is the house that most of these people live, I showed them Gregg's plan and they literally laughed. They were embarrassed. And the thing is, Quinton is a fan of Gregg. He loves Gregg videos. He finds him so intelligent and so entertaining. But when he read the plan that Gregg gave me, he was just like, this is the shittest thing I have ever seen. This is embarrassing. He was reading through the ingredients and just the meals that he gave me and just couldn't believe. And when he saw that there was female options in my plan, which is meant to be personalized, he just couldn't even fathom how full of shit Gregg is, saying that he's the #1 coach, and if you want to hire me for coaching, I'll turn you into a pro. The fact that he's got everyone brainwashed, all his subscribers, in the comment section on the video that he made about me, saying Brandon made the worst mistake ever. I'm not being funny, but leaving Gregg was the best thing that I could have ever done. I'm so sorry that right now I'm getting quite heated and speaking a little bit fast and stuff, but I'm just so baffled. It's taken me a month. I haven't been with Gregg for a month to just buck up the courage to be able to say this, because I didn't want to fucking embarrass him. He is a nice guy and he really does have good intentions, and I'm so thankful that he offered to coach me for free. But I'm sorry, the plan that he gave me, I could have fucking downloaded from bodybuilding.com. The only thing that Gregg actually gave me, which made any sense, that I was actually quite happy about, was the structured supplementation plan, which I began to take in September at the beginning of our coaching. Now, this is the part that got to me. This is actually the first thing that bothered me. In the whole month of coaching me, he didn't ask for a single check-in photo. He didn't even ask me how I was doing. He didn't ask me how I was feeling on the cycle. He didn't ask me anything. The only thing that Gregg wanted to speak about was how much money he was making from YouTube videos and how happy he was that all his subscribers were growing and he was getting paid X amount more money on YouTube. He would send me screenshots of his analytics on YouTube and how much money he was making as a bragging right. I was meant to be impressed by how much money he's making. He wasn't really concerned about my health or, what my well-being while following the plan. And as I said, he didn't ask for a single check-in photo, which I know he does state in the plan that he sends is up to the individual that is being coached to hold themselves accountable to send check-in photos themselves, to organize a time for Gregg and the client to have a conversation about how they're feeling on the plan. Now, I'm not being funny, but I feel bad for his paying clients, because if you're charging 5 fucking grand, this is pissing me off, mate. If you're charging 5 grand, the least you can do is give a shit enough to ask them how they are. And you know what? If the person that you're coaching is 2 days late with their check-in photos, the least you can do, if you're being paid that much money, is say, hey dude, how you doing? I didn't receive your check-in photos last Sunday. Are you okay? What's going on with the plan? I'm not being funny, but my coach now, Callum, he calls me every single day, messages me every single day, asking me how I am, if I'm digesting the food okay, how I'm feeling after every single meal. Once a week, he will send me an updated plan with a video annotation of him breaking down all the changes, all the macros, how it's going to affect my body, future plans. And this is like a 5-minute production that he makes specifically for me, when Gregg can't even text a single one of his clients weekly to say, oh dude, are you good? Are you feeling okay? I know you've paid 5 grand for my plan. And I actually spoke to one of Gregg's previous clients in the gym that actually trains at Pure Muscle and Fitness. And he told me that when he actually contacted Gregg for an update on his plan, the text message that Gregg sent to him was, I'm not telling you shit until you pay me. If this doesn't say enough about the type of guy Gregg is, I wish I could show you this, but in regards to the meal options that he gave me to create my own plan, he didn't even give me like the grammage of rice. He gave me the exact calorie amount, so I had to type it into MyFitnessPal to work out exactly how many grams of each ingredient for each meal I had to have. He did it reverse. At this point, I'm just like, what the fuck is the point in having a coach when I'm literally just coaching myself? Brittany's here trying to work out this fucking plan with me, and she left university with a 4.0. She's probably one of the smartest people I have ever met, so much more smarter than me, and she's looking at this plan, scrolling, and she is absolutely baffled. She's just like, what is this shit? And I'm just over here like an absolute idiot saying on YouTube, oh yeah, this is the best plan ever, because Gregg, out of the kindness of his heart, has decided to create me a personalized plan for free. So I feel obliged, like it's my responsibility to come online and say, you know what, Gregg's plan is amazing. After a month of following the plan, when Gregg made his reaction video to my updated physique pictures, which I just like randomly sent him, I was like, hey dude, if you give a shit, this is what I'm currently looking like a month after the plan. Obviously, I made progress. I had been cruising for about 4 months before I started taking the cycle that he gave me, and obviously introducing compounds to my body that I've never taken. I was going to progress. It would have been, I could have eaten literally anything with, you know, an overall consensus of like eating the right foods and taking the cycle that he told me to take, and I would have progressed. I gained about 15 pounds. Yes, a little bit of muscle, and yes, a little bit of water weight, and I was really happy with my progress, but there is no way I was gonna be okay with Gregg being like, I'm such an amazing coach. The only reason Brandon just gained 15 pounds is because of my intellect and how intelligent I am and this amazing plan that I've sent him. And I'm just like, dude, mate, I'm watching this video and I'm feeling absolutely embarrassed. It's just an absolute mockery. I'm not being funny, mate, but you're an absolute embarrassment to coaches. People that spend hours and hours and hours and hours personalizing people's plans and sending them video annotations of the changes to their diets and really caring about their clients and calling them on WhatsApp and checking in and making sure they're okay, mate. You just don't give a shit. And the fact that you have tried to make me look bad in a YouTube video and you got about 2,000 people in your comments licking your ass, mate, when in actuality, like, I'm not being funny, but I hate to say it, you are very smart. You have been on this planet for a very long time and you do know what you're talking about, but you don't give a shit about your clients. You spew the knowledge that you do have on YouTube, which is combined with the essence of just speaking shit about so many people in the industry. Like Stephanie Buttermore, she's not entitled to body image because I feel great all the time and a lot of my clients feel great about themselves. Not everyone has bad body image, but I'm not being funny, mate. She's a vulnerable fucking girl and you're there ripping her apart. Going through a really difficult time in her life. She's gaining weight and she doesn't know what's going on. She initially set a plan for herself and it really didn't work out the way she wanted, but you're here making YouTube videos, probably making her feel worse about herself. And I'm meant to be one of your clients promoting your coaching online, and I'm just like here just being absolutely embarrassed to call someone like you my coach. Man, this is a joke. I've actually written down bullet points because I'm not finished yet. When we worked out together, it was as if I was coaching him. Here's a new one. Oh my God. When he came to see me in Toronto, I was so honestly happy that like I was gonna get the chance to like speak to him in person, you know, get his insight on like future plans and how we're gonna move forward, transitioning from the bulk season to, you know, dieting and everything. We filmed 2 YouTube videos for his channel. And, you know, as soon as we got that out of the way, I was like, you know what? We made his YouTube videos and they were actually really funny and I did enjoy filming them, which is why it's a real shame for what happened next. We get to the gym and it's almost as if I I'm coaching him. He's like, oh, what do you want to do today? And I'm like, oh, you know, you're not gonna guide the workout. He's like, nah, we'll just do whatever you want to do. I construct the workout. And as we're doing sets, he's just like stood there, you know, silently. We are recording a Q&A through this, but in between the questions, he's not really saying too much. He's not really talking. He's only really talking when the camera's on, which is, you know, quite annoying, because as soon as the camera comes on, it's like he comes alive. But when the camera's off, he doesn't really have a lot to say. So there's no like, you know, do this, drop set, change the weight, take a plate off, let's go, man, let's work. There wasn't any coaching going on. And I know that Gregg isn't the type of guy that's like, let's fucking do this. He's not like a scream in your face kind of guy, which I completely respect because he is quite quiet off camera, but I would have appreciated something, like just any type of like motivation, anything I could leave this first experience with training with Gregg and feel like, wow, that was amazing. Like, you know, he put me through the paces. So excited to start prep with this guy because he really knows what he's talking about. He really wants me to work hard. The only thing he did actually tell me within the hour and a half of working out was, dude, slower the eccentric. Just go slower. And the situation was just that saddening and that disheartening that when I was driving back from having trained with Gregg, Brittany was in the car and I just didn't speak the whole way, and she was like, you are so disappointed, aren't you? And I was like, I have no words to say. I just can't believe how shit that was. It was just so disappointing. You know, Brittany, for the past like 2 months this guy's been coaching me, he hasn't give a shit. He's given me a glorified recipe book. He doesn't even want to really train me properly in the gym. Like, what do I do? And I was just so scared of leaving Gregg for the original choice of coach, which was Callum, because I knew exactly the flare-up that would happen online. It's my own fault. It's my fault for just like documenting my like coach journey as well as my life journey and, you know, who I'm working with. And I completely understand that all the repercussions that would come from me changing coaches would be completely my fault. And I know a lot of people wouldn't understand unless I made this video, which I, for the past month that I haven't been working with Gregg, haven't really wanted to make, because I just didn't want to throw the guy under the bus. And I don't think anyone should think he's a bad person. Like, I do have a lot of respect for him, and you know, he's achieved great things in his lifetime, and I do really appreciate him going out of his way to offer to coach me for free. But we clearly just have such different coaching styles. Even the people that saw his plan and they just looked at it and laughed, I kind of felt a little bit embarrassed. I was like, should I have realized sooner? Should I have originally, when I looked at the plan, been like, you know what, I've made the wrong decision, and from the day one just been like, you know what, it's not going to work out, I'm not really happy with the plan? Because you know what, I did look at the plan, tried to understand it, I looked at it for a whole 24 hours and I just kept on reading. I was like, I don't understand this is absolutely ridiculous. And then I texted him and I said, can I have like, you know, a little bit more structure? Just give me at least like the grammage so I don't have to spend an hour a day on MyFitnessPal working out how many grams of each food I'm actually meant to have. And his reply was, just keep reading the plan. It takes my clients about 2 to 3 weeks to really get the hang of things. I'm gonna go back to the bullet points just so I don't miss anything. It's disappointing to see so many people see Gregg as the world's best coach when in actuality, my friend who was 24, who offered to coach me to help me out when I was 19 years old for my first 3 bodybuilding competitions, did a better job as a coach. I'm not saying that Tom, the guy that I worked with when I was 19, was any more intelligent than Gregg. I'm not saying that. Gregg obviously knows a lot more. He's been around for a lot longer. He has a lot more experience. But in terms of actually being someone's coach and being there for them and helping them stay on track, it's almost like just being there for someone if they need you, and that is exactly what Gregg wasn't. He sent me a one-time plan, but people pay $5,000 to receive a copied and pasted document from a 45-year-old dude making YouTube videos claiming to be the world's #1 best coach, when in actuality, you just watch the video. You know where my heart's at. You can make the decision for yourself. I am sorry if I said anything in this video that came across a little bit aggressive or, you know, overly passionate. That's not the kind of guy I am. I don't, you know, I make YouTube videos just because I love making them. Like, that's the thing. When Gregg's messaging me, he's like, oh dude, look at all this money I'm making from YouTube. I'm just like, dude, like, that's great and all. I didn't even know you could make money from YouTube. I just loved creating content and I love sharing my journey, sharing my life. If something happens in the future and everyone just stops watching my videos, that is completely okay. If you disagree with anything I said in this video and you're a diehard fan of Gregg and you decide to stop watching my videos now, that is completely okay, because I do not make videos for you. I share my journey because I love fucking doing it. And if I didn't get paid for this shit, it wouldn't matter. I'm doing what I love. Every single day I pick up the camera and start recording a video, I'm having a good day. And that is just the way I want to live my life, just being creative and sharing my passion. And that's all I do it for. So I'm sorry if I've offended anyone in this video. That is the last thing that I wanted to do. I just wanted to briefly give an overview on why I didn't want to be coached by Gregg anymore. But after the video that he made, I had to go into depth and just like, you know what? Tell people the truth, because the fact that he attempted to play the victim in his video and tried to cover things that he thought I would reference in this video, kind of masking himself. And I was just watching it being like, dude, good luck hiding from the truth, because everything I've said in this video has been merely facts. None of it has been my opinion. I have shared how I felt, but everything I've said has been a fact, and it's been such a deciding factor on why I decided to leave Gregg and start working with Callum, who originally I was going to be working with, and I wish I did from the very beginning, because he is absolutely amazing. He is everything that I thought Gregg would be and wasn't, you know, and that's just my fault. That's just my poor judge of character, but I will not be made out to be a bad person and like I made the wrong decision. So I'm sincerely sorry to you, Gregg. Thank you for offering to help me on the off season and going into my pursuit at trying to get an IFBB Pro card. It just didn't work out, and I'm sorry. I did actually previously send Gregg a book of a message, which was my reasoning for not working with him, and he replied with a bunch of excuses and a book as well of all the reasons why he did the things he did and the reasons he didn't do the things he didn't do. I had already made my decision. It really didn't matter anymore. I already knew I was going to leave Gregg, and yeah, this is my highly anticipated, for some reason, response on working with Gregg Doucette. That's pretty much it. That's all I have to say about that. I obviously did reference some things at the beginning of this video that I was going to talk about regarding things that I went through when I came to Canada and the reasoning why I lost actually £6, not because of my switch in coaches. Everyone was just like, oh my God, Brandon lost £6 because he went from Gregg to Callum. I'm not being funny, but I could gain £6 back in 4 days. The reason I lost £6, the actual reason, it's not because my body was maintaining, on the calories. I was stressed. I was doing a collaboration with a guy that owns an Airbnb and a car rental company, hence the original place I came to when I moved to Canada. The guy ended up being an absolute sociopath and is now in a psychiatric ward because he realized, based on something that happened outside my apartment, he pulled a knife out on the guy who owned the Corvette, who he was doing a pink slip with, because he owned the Tesla and John was going to get me a Corvette for a few days. His girlfriend, who he lied to me and said was his manager, was like sorting a bunch of the stuff out anyway, rips his shirt off, has like an ADD attack, he's got some like mental things he's dealing with, and he absolutely exploded, pulls the guy down the stairs, he's like, get the hell out of my apartment, starts like punching the guy, and I'm just like, oh my God, this guy has literally just pulled a knife out on this poor man, this Romanian dude who was so sweet and kind. And I essentially go back into the apartment and say to Brittany like, hey, pack the bags, this guy is mental, we are leaving. And I just moved my whole life into Canada and I didn't have a place to live. So we essentially spent a little bit of time trying to find me a new place, which is actually the place that I'm currently in right now. After the happening of the knife being pulled out on that guy, I actually had to go back to John to square up to him and say, dude, I want my money back for this Airbnb because I paid for a whole month. After seeing him pull a knife out on a guy, I was like, what the hell is this guy gonna do to me? So please, can I have my money back and can I borrow the Tesla for a day so I can transport my suitcases to the new apartment, because you've kind of like screwed me over a little bit and now I don't have any way to like transport my suitcases, because Brittany also had a car full of her things as well. And with the bad taste in my mouth about the whole like pulling the knife out on the guy, I was scared every single day driving that Tesla, like he was gonna have like a mental breakdown again. And I was scared that because there's a Tesla app on your phone that he was gonna, I'd be on like the highway and he just like turned the car off while I was driving. I was just so scared to drive it. I gave it him back and then I went on Choro, which is Airbnb car rental for Canada, and rented the car that I currently have right now, which is like a BMW 4 Series. It's actually an amazing car and I don't have to charge it because it's not electric, which is amazing, and it's really fun to drive. And while that was happening, me and Brittany for the past couple of months, we've been a bit like, on the rocks. I'm not gonna go into details about, why we broke up and all that kind of stuff, because honestly, it really doesn't matter. It's our personal life, and I know for a fact that Brittany has been receiving some messages from people blaming her for the breakup as if she did anything wrong, like that she's the reason that we broke up, and saying, congratulations, you got to use Brandon for his followers for so long, good luck doing it on your own. And I'm not being funny, but this girl has been with me since before I even made a YouTube channel, before I even made an Instagram, and she's been there since day one, and she was nothing but golden to me. She was nothing but my best friend and so good to me. And towards the end, it just didn't work out, and that is the truth. And I would really appreciate if anyone that has messaged her to either say sorry or send her a nice message, ask her if she's okay. Everything with us, we are friends, we haven't ended on bad terms, like everything is okay, and it was just a decision that we thought would be best for this time in our lives, because months before this, things were a little bit rocky. We didn't really know what we were doing, and we decided to start this year off with our own best interest at heart, to just pursue our own goals. She would stay in America, I would stay in Canada, and it is as simple as that. Obviously dealing with a breakup and not really knowing how to be alone for a little while, because obviously I spent the good part of 5 years with this girl. For the week that I was dealing with everything else, I was also dealing with a breakup, and I didn't really know how to be myself. A lot of people think that the reason I left Gregg was because I was mentally unstable, dealing with a breakup, but the whole Gregg thing was decided before any of these series of events started started to unfold. Right now in life, I'm good. I'm around incredible people. Like I said previously, I'm in the best environment to train and to get this pro card and to take everything seriously. I've got so many people motivating me and helping me out. And now working with Callum, I have never felt more safe and secure in my pursuit to turn pro, and I'm super happy. I'm sorry that this video has been so bloody long. I'm sorry I've taken this much of your day. I appreciate you hearing me out and watching me talk shit. I don't often do it, but here we are, we're doing it again. That's pretty much it, that's the update. I hope that cleared up everything. I am really interested to find out what's gonna happen next in regards to maybe another reaction video from Gregg to see if he's gonna try and milk this situation anymore for ad revenue. It is pretty late. Like I said, I was originally gonna film this in the morning, but I couldn't sleep. I had to get this off my chest, so here we are. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.